I know two more things to be certain. I love making things in Blender. I have bills to pay. Anyone else? How do you go from being a Blender enthusiast to actually building a career and making a living? The point I want to stress here is opportunity. You never know what interesting project is right around the corner when you just open yourself up to freelance gigs. I get very, very excited about this because right now, it might not seem like it, but right now I'm telling you is a great time to be a Blender generalist. Hello. My goal is to motivate you today. I want this to be an inspirational talk about how you can use Blender to make a living as a 3D artist in 2026. So I want to start with a real motivational quote. Nothing is certain but death and taxes. So I thought I'd motivate you by talking about death and taxes today. Just kidding. We're not going to talk about that, but I do want to add to our pal Ben Franklin's quote here and say, I know two more things to be certain. Number one, I love making things in Blender. Anyone else? Woo! And number two, I have bills to pay. Anyone else? Thought so. We're all in the same boat. So because of this, I got the bright idea about 10 years ago. How do I use my obsession with Blender to pay the bills? I know, totally original idea. Very unique with me, right? Hi, I'm Kenan Proffitt. Some of you know me from my humble YouTube channel. I do mostly geometry nodes and VFX tutorials, and I have a lot of fun. The community has been super supportive. But for the better part of the last decade, I've had the great privilege of working in the movie industry, where I've gotten to work on some really cool projects, and I'm happy to say I have used Blender on all of them in some way or another. So, very exciting. Of course, my tool of choice. Right now, I'm at Paramount Animation, where I'm working on a super secret film that I can't talk about. I can tell you it's about genetically altered teenage tortoises with martial arts skills. Maybe you can figure that out. This image is publicly available. I just blurred it for the drama. I'm using Blender daily on this project and working with some other artists who are as well. And I'm having a ton of fun. All that to say, I'm very fortunate that Blender now pays my bills. Woo! The plan worked. Okay, so to the root question. How do you go from being a Blender enthusiast, just using it as a hobby, to actually building a career and making a living? Well, you need to build up an arsenal of weapons, and I'm speaking to a room full of people that have done just that. Sorry, there's the rest of that. Arsenal of weapons. And I want to talk today about three main weapons you can have in your arsenal. I use the whole weapon analogy because making a living in Blender sometimes feels like going into battle, right? So 3 diverse income streams you can focus on as a Blender artist. These are not conclusive, of course, but they are tried and true. So what's the first income weapon you can reach for to make a living as a Blender artist? There's already been a lot of talk about this, but weapon number one, you can sell products. This is probably the lowest barrier to entry for most of us. Obviously, marketplaces like Superhive make this very easy. And I'm talking about products like, add-ons, ebooks even, rigs, courses, GeoNodes tools, models, memberships even. Superhive makes this very easy, and when you have something that can genuinely provide value for someone else, then you have a product that can start bringing in income for you. This is just an example. Can we play this clip? This is a very simple tool I made a few years ago, several years ago actually. But through my website and through Superhive, it still generates passive income for me. And it's very simple. Like you can see, it's just a materials-based fire system, set up with geo nodes where you can draw fire. And the community really seemed to like it. And it's, it's not paying my mortgage, but if you layer a lot of these little products together, it can generate passive income for you. So, products. If you're a skilled artist and you're not selling them, you probably already have them. You're probably already making them, just not selling them yet. So I encourage you to do that. All right, what's the second weapon you should have in your arsenal, or you can have? What else can you do to make a living? A ton of you are doing this. I've talked to so many of you. You can freelance. This is not, very basic stuff here. I love Blender for freelance. The diversity of the software leads to a diversity of things you can do for paying clients. There's jobs out there, commercials, motion graphics, post product images, VFX, social media post, animation, previs, postviz, arcviz, gwiz. Let me go back here. Freelance is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I received an email one day from someone I had never met before, but they were a connection through a connection, and we're going to get to that. But their company was taking a trip to Paris for some event, and they wanted a very specific social media post made. They asked me to create a very specific shot of a specific airplane that had a specific logo on it approaching Paris, and they needed it, in 24 hours. So here we go. I got creative, put some fun things together, 100% in Blender. Can we play this? This is not impressing. Very simple, a lot of fun. Go to the rendered result. Play that. So there was like maybe 2 iterations of notes just on Slack, back and forth. They liked it, changed this. Could have been way more polished. Go back. Could have been way more polished, but it was a very tight deadline. And because of that, they were willing to pay extra. And they were very happy with the result. I mean, they needed it ASAP. The point I want to stress here is opportunity. You never know what interesting project is right around the corner when you just open yourself up to freelance gigs. I get very, very excited about this because right now, it might not seem like it, but right now I'm telling you is a great time to be a Blender generalist. It really is. So, opportunity. All right, what's the final weapon you can make a living with Blender? Well, you can work at a studio job. And this has changed over the years. When I got my first studio job, I heard all the exciting feedback about Blender. And shout out if you heard some of these. Isn't it just hobbyist software? It's not stable enough to use seriously. It can't replace Maya. Do you even CG, bro? Okay, no one ever said that last one to me, but all the others, I heard it all. I'm assuming some of you have too over the years. This is not the case anymore, not by a long shot. I've worked with artists at Warner Brothers, Netflix, and Paramount who are using Blender at the highest level, and I've witnessed the change in real time from getting poked fun at for being, a Blender evangelist to now sort of looking over the shoulder and, hey, can you teach me some of that Blender? People are starting to take it seriously. Okay, here's a quick example. This was a set I prevised for the recent SpongeBob movie. I prevised it totally in Blender, and it made it to the final film. You play this clip? Very simple. So it was previs, so it was a very simple scene, but it was complex in that the blocking and the layout, the very specific thing that needed to happen in the scene, and the parallax of the pipes and all that. It was really fun that made it to the final film. A lot of big studios are incorporating Blender into their workflow. And if they haven't yet, they're at least curious. And that creates a great opportunity for you to step in as a Blender artist because curiosity creates demand. You can fill in that demand. All right, I want to talk now about the big film and game studios. The news isn't exactly great. layoffs, looming AI. No one knows what to do about it. There's been a bunch of shakeups. But as the big studio models get shaken up a bit, I want to point to an opportunity I see on the horizon. And that is the rise of the boutique studio. Wow, that animation is slow. These are those small 3 to 13 army studios. They're highly creative and can turn on a dime and adapt quickly. Unlike the giant cruise ships of the big studios, these are the little jet skis. These small studios prioritize things like speed, flexibility, and of course, keeping costs low. So naturally, what are they doing? They're turning to Blender. Again, opportunity. You're going to see more and more of these small studios cropping up, and they're looking to hire Blender artists. I've seen it, and we continue to see it. It's on the rise. All right, so we've talked about the what of making a living. Let's switch to the how. How do you sell something people will buy, get freelance work, or land a studio job? Answer, very simple. You build community. A lot of people have already talked about this yesterday and today, but it's really true. To continue with a battle and weapon theme analogy here, you need your squad. If you have no leads, no clients, no opportunities, we need to start creating, start helping, and start sharing. The cycle can look something like this. If you provide value for someone, you gain their trust. That trust then leads to an opportunity. And the cycle continues because the simple truth is this. People want to work with people they like to work with. In most cases, your community network is far more powerful than your qualifications. I've known that to be true. So here's another way that can look like. You provide value for someone. Let's go back. You provide value for someone. Maybe you offer to help with a short film. You reach out to a small business, offer to make a social media post, team up with a Blender YouTuber, offer your skills for a video, whatever the case may be. Start creating and start building your Blender community. Then from there, maybe an individual who liked your work recommends you for a freelance gig. Maybe through that gig, you gain more marketable knowledge, or you just have something cool that you can share online. Maybe that cool thing brings you new connections, or maybe the freelance gig leads you to a studio job. Maybe the knowledge you gained or the experience you got at the studio allows you to make a tool. And because you never ever take proprietary studio tools and sell them, you go home and make a better version of it, and then you sell that tool. And maybe you want to start your own studio, or maybe you want to start your own business, selling tools or add-ons. And the connections you have met all along the way now feed into that business. And the end result is you come full circle and you're able to provide value for someone else. Now, what you will find is when you're building your community-driven career, it's never this clean and tidy. It's not a nice straight arrow timeline. It looks more like this. Everything is sort of pointing back to itself. All the experience you gain, the connections you meet, they all feed into themselves. And it sort of becomes a giant flywheel. So the flywheel looks something like this. Let me play it. You provide value. That leads to trust. That trust then leads to opportunity. The opportunity leads to experience. And now you have an income wheel. And it's spinning and spinning and spinning. And at the center of it all is your community. It's really funneling the fuel for your income flywheel. Just on a personal note, every opportunity I've been blessed with in the industry, I got not because I was the most qualified person. I got it because someone I know trusted me with an opportunity, and they trusted that I would figure out how to accomplish the task that they needed accomplished. And that led to bigger and bigger opportunities and more trust. If you create value and build relationships, opportunities will follow. It's very difficult to be a successful 3D artist when you're a lonely island. It takes an army. So, build your community. And that's all I got. Thanks for listening, y'all.